Okay, this is the George Webb Day 500 series summaries for September 2017. September 2017 is probably best known for the Washington Post, and this is where I was in the article. It was mainly about Imran Awan, a very good article actually by Sean Boberg of the Washington Post. But I was mentioned, and I had three or four paragraphs toward the end of the article where they specifically called me out for being a YouTube journalist, which was a big switch from in June where they had just said, "Hey, I'm just this guy on YouTube, making these wild accusations about uranium coming in and out, and there being some kind of illegal uranium trade coming in and out of the port of Charleston." This one I was really singled out for being a YouTube journalist and almost like made fun of a little bit. Hey, there's satellite codes going to Pakistan. How crazy is that? The funny thing about this article was they pulled that. The initial version talked about the satellite codes, and we had talked about Freitag codes going there, and we had talked about Geosat chat and how anyone running game between Pakistan and especially with shipping and logistics to the United States would want to know where these different Navy vessels were. And what was interesting is they pulled that from the article about 2 hours later. It was kind of like they went to Sean and said, "Hey, X-nay on the Adelites say, actually that's what we are doing. So let's pull that out of the article." So that's what I remember about it. But he was fair in the sense that spiring in Congress. It was famous for that, if nothing else, saying, "Hey, this isn't just a small, two-person little ring in Congress to do a little bit of bank fraud. This is aspiring in Congress." So Sean Boberg made Spiring in Congress famous. But we talked about the grand jury system and a lot of legal battles. I hadn't started my own lawsuits in the civil court yet, which are now, rolling along well. But I was trying to intervene in the criminal court, which is much more difficult. But we were drilling down, but by far and away, the best thing about this whole approach in September to the lawsuits was the Trello board. And if you haven't seen the Trello board, here it is. And really, there's two individual contributors. 9/11 Body Snatcher is one, and that needs to be singled out, and also Bygone. Both are vets, and both live out in the Midwest. And they just did a remarkable job. This will be the way that discovery, open source discovery, is done now for forever. I'm sure that if Trello saw this tool and they saw the amount of data that's been accumulated, I think there's 40 columns now, something like that. But here's all the spoliation letters we sent to the letters of members of Congress, so that we have numerosity and we have diversity in our lawsuit. Here's all the names and phone numbers. We're going to be able to pull all those and enter those as evidence. Here are all the people connected to the Awan family. I remember Sprayer was a big subject in September, the whole Sprayer Street find. And kudos to Jason Goodman at Crowdsource of Truth for really uncovering through a crowdsource investigation this Wi-Fi connection and this connection to this shed. And then Lori Hemming came up with the fact that Rayo Abbas was coming and going, changing these air filters. And I thought, oh boy, fentanyl-laced air filter and changing the videotapes for the Fort Belvoir people getting compromised there. That's the first thing I thought of. So kudos to them on that. But then just all the media, as well as all the pictures of the houses. That's just going to be helpful in any kind of bank fraud investigation. Here's all the houses they own. Here's all the amounts. You just kind of look at it and say, wow, they were in Congress, and making $180,000 a year, and they've got, $6 million worth of real estate. What's going on? Here's all the congressional reports and the photos. We still don't have photos. The only photo we have in the Spiring in Congress is just Imran Awan. I remember at the time we put this up, Alpha Jalo was not connected to the Awans at all. Then the Manitoba and Lachine connections came out. But at that time, it was just the farthest fetched thing. I remember that the car ring, the Project Cassandra was in any way involved. More stuff's happening this week on Project Cassandra. But as you can see, the different interviews that have appeared on other channels We've got links to those, as well as, this Mr. Bracero who's in the news. You can see they're trying to throw as much dirt as they can on the immigration subject to keep away from this Becerra server. This Becerra server is going to be all the catalysts. The catalysts are going to be people that have DEA licenses that shouldn't have. And of course, here we have the connection down to the Navy Yard that we had started. So, Otava had the Dumbo drops and so forth, and just the whole kind of CIA kid, devil may care. We can drug anybody we want. We can sell any drugs we want. We can do anything we want. We can sell any dark weapons we want. We're really beyond reproach. We don't really answer to anyone. So my archived tweets are on here, which is great. I send a lot of stuff out because I've had a lot of stuff wiped out in my tweets. So it's nice to have all of them there. There's other tweets from other contributors as well. And then the full transcripts of every episode, 2,300 episodes, okay? Then I did some summaries of, 50-day summaries. So you can go back if people want to see those and see the actual clips. Just a really well done. And then news articles as well. I got to say that the news articles and different sources of information is just amazing. And I've forgotten, I've done stories on all these things, and it's so great to go back and see all this stuff. And there's a tool here for pay to play. I don't even remember that tool, but I just showed another tool from MIT this morning. And somebody said, I sent you that tool, Jonathan Deckard. He said, I sent you that tool a year ago. So it's okay. We've got more data now, so the tool is going to be much more effective. So this is just such a great resource, and all you have to do is send an email to Bygone, and this will get posted to the board, or just make comments with links. That's another way to do it. But here, it's being kept up to date so well with the Russians potentially involved in the DNC and so forth. So I just think this is just such an amazing piece of work, and I have not given it enough pointers and enough credit for the work these guys have done. There's other people involved as well too, but Bygone and Body Snatcher, 9/11 Body Snatcher come to mind.